Hello and welcome to this Project in a Box video tour. In this session we're going to be looking through the demo which is available to access for anybody from our website, which takes you through the browser interface for our multi-user platform. That's Live Edition, Small Team and Enterprise Editions. The demo side has been restricted slightly. It's so that you can only do certain things, but it's enough to give you a feel for how the system works, how the data moves around, what reporting looks like, how you can interact with files, and do all the sort of routine activities that you would do on a project. It's a standard preset configuration, so everybody logs in as the same demo user, and you'll be able to interact with the project content that's all set up there already. So I'm just going to use this video to give you a little guide through some of the things you might find useful to look at. So when you've clicked the link on the site, you'll come up to this login page. You simply enter the item that's in Capture here. So we've got our capture password. Okay, and when it brings you in, it brings you to a pre-configured project, and that's the same. Actually, the system does that in Live. It always brings you to the last project you logged in on, because many people are just working on one project, of course. And we come to the project homepage, and we can see which project it is up here. We're in No Portfolio currently, and the CRM Update project, and we're user demo. And this is the navigation homepage for a project of this type. It's a 4-step PM method. There's a whole range of different methodologies and processes available in here for you to explore. We'll have a little look at some of those in a minute. And down the left-hand side of here, we've got delivery, documentation, discussions, access for the project content. And then over here, we've got some information panels, reporting, live review of the key project controls, and a link to go and explore admin further. So it's pretty self-explanatory, with boxes and titles and descriptions, etc. But this goes further than our previous versions have done, in that you can display live content from the system onto the diagram. So you can see here we've got some status icons showing through the processes and the live review areas. We've got some statuses and some data and key roles and the project name appearing on the diagram, etc. So it's personalized. You don't have to go and look for things. The key metrics are going to be there showing for you straight away, and that's really helpful. So before we're going to explore that a bit further, let's just jump back to Select Project up here on the menu, which will give us a sort of higher level feel for how the system is structured. So we've got two panes showing here. The top one is portfolios, the bottom one is projects. And when you choose a portfolio, you see all the projects that are in there. Now we have this at the top, the all projects portfolio, which is just showing you all the projects that are available to you. About 80 odd showing in this particular setup here. And then if you choose a particular portfolio, it will show you the projects that are there in that. So this one, 2020 New Blank Methods, shows you all the standard off-the-shelf methodologies that you can try out. We've got Department for Information Services, which is all the projects that are in that particular department. All the ideas that we're processing at the moment are in a different portfolio, etc. The one that's got the best sort of set, if you're just having a quick browse around, is probably the 2020 example projects. So we can see those listed here for us. If we want to see some data for them immediately, we can use a properties view. So I'm going to choose performance here, and this is going to give me a subset of the data that we're holding in our properties database for these projects. It's got some data that's automatically calculated, like start and end dates of the project, percentage complete, etc. Number of risks and issues. Some things that we're bringing back from spreadsheets held in the project. Some things that we're manually entering in the project as well. So a whole load of content that we can see there, and these different views give us different sets of content depending on the view that we pick. In the browser, we just pick from the list. In the Windows app, the sort of a more admin-y tool, you can set up custom lists and save them into that space. So in here, we're going to choose the project we're interested in, and we'll start with this CRM update. So as I've said, we've got our live navigation diagram here. We can drill into any of the content that we want by point and click. We'll see the cursor changes to something clickable when we go on to that. And when we go into something of navigation element, you'll see that the what we have is a sidebar appearing down the side here, a simplified version of navigation. We can go back to the full navigation here, show navigation, or we can hide it away. It's always there behind the scenes, which we can get back to, and we've got that sidebar with key things available all the time. So we've come into File Explorer here because I clicked on the project concept link in the process. This is the starting up of the project, if you like. And I can see I've got some documentation, and I can open that up and see what this content is. A document is a holder which collects all the things under a particular topic. So these are all the things to do with the idea form. I've got a spreadsheet form here and some other information we're collecting, and you'll see as I click on these things they preview in the right hand side for me, and that's the case here. I've got some more Excel things and a PBX file and email message from somebody. So a common thing for users is that they want to just catch up with what's going on in the project, read the latest bit of content, and that's what this is giving them straight away. Not the whole project library, just the things associated with concept, so they don't have to go and work out what it is they need to read. It's all presented for them nice and easily. And that preview is really good because you can do it on your phone or your tablet or wherever you are, get that content readable. Of course, when you click on a file, in the real live system, depending on your permissions, you'll be able to preview it and then possibly work on it, check it out to work on yourself, or send it to somebody else by email to work on. That's limited in this particular demo, but you can get the idea of seeing the files that are there. The ones we do allow you to check out and edit are the PABX files. So those are designed for edit in the browser. So we can do that here. We don't have to bother about downloading it. It opens in an editable format. And we can see here that it's got a number of sections with some text in, and obviously we can come into here and just add our own text as we need to, or copy and paste into here, etc. It supports spell check as well in this particular browser, so really useful ability to update content from anywhere with these type of files. PABX is also editable. The structure of it is editable online if you've been given permissions to do that. So the files can be set so they are rigid templates, or they can be left so that you can add extra sections or do extra things to them, in which case you'd be able to duplicate that section, for example, and we've got that here now, a duplicated section, obviously without the content in it, ready for us to go and start adding some new content, or we could add a new item to this format here. So quite interesting, the PABX files. You can't save them back in as updates, but you can explore the feel for how to work with them. I'm going to undo that checkout. You'll notice actually the red cross here now shows it as checked out, and that's telling you when the file is available or being worked on by somebody else. So undo that checkout, it goes back into there. So that's the content that we would see for project concept. If we come back to our navigation and jump onto the start process, we'll see there's now more content available. Some of it's the same because that's input to the next process. Some of it's not relevant anymore. The idea documents aren't being shown to us anymore, but other things are now. So we're being shown benefit management and PIDs and some controls documents down here. Some of them are being worked on by somebody else, so I can't edit them even if I had functionality to do that here. We can see all sorts of different files available on preview there. One of the ones I particularly want to point out to you is this, which is the planner file, which is collecting the schedule, risks and issue information. And in this file you can see the plan and also the risk and issue registers for this project. And like I say, you may well be able to continue editing in Planner and go and see how those edit. Again, you can't save the changes to this, but you can see how that would work. Of course, we also accept into here plan information from Microsoft Project, for example, although of course you can't edit that in the browser because it needs Microsoft Project application to edit it. And also you can add content to these documents. You can do that either by using add file here and then browsing to the particular file you want to add. You'll see we've actually restricted the final adding of the file though, or you can use add, drag and drop. And that allows you to drag and drop content onto there. So I've got some example files over here. And as you drag those into there, they would then say 100% complete and appear in the document. So it makes it very easy to collect the evidence on your project. In practice, although templates are really important for a project for establishing consistency, most of the content at the end of the project is evidence that you've collected along the way. So getting all that into here very easily and quickly is obviously a very helpful thing to be able to do. So that's a little bit about navigating our way through the process and seeing some of that content. Let's move on to talking about the structure of the data that we collect and reporting, etc. So we have properties information in our project. We can come over here and see what the current properties are. We can edit them if we want to change what that description of the project would be, and normally of course we'd be able to apply and save these so they appear back in the system for redisplay and reuse in reporting, etc. Pretty straightforward. Some things are going to be pick listed, some things are going to be text, some are going to be dates, etc. And again, you can select particular pre-configured sets of those if you want to, and those are things that you change for your server. You decide how you want to collect that, or what you want to collect. And those are some of those reflecting in this space here. From the plan, risk and issue registers, we're also bringing back all that data to the central database. So rather than seeing the whole file or going to have to find the whole file, I can see that data from the database. So when I come over and click over here on plan tasks, it shows me automatically, as thinking of the team members here, it shows me my project tasks, the tasks that I use a demo are doing on this project. I don't need to see everything, I just need to see the ones that I'm working on. So that's the default thing that it will show you. You can see those and you can go down and click on them, etc. Now this form is controlled by two different pick lists. The first one is the data range. That's the maximum amount of data we're allowed to see. And in this case I could therefore jump to the whole project tasks like that. And I see the whole project plan. Or I could go levels up if I have enough permission. So I could go to portfolio tasks. And now I shall see all the tasks in the current portfolio, all of the different separate project plans. The view allows me to apply potentially some filters to that maximum set of data. So if I'm interested in overdue tasks, I can go and find only the overdue tasks in the portfolio. And we can see we've got some from one project sat a long way back, and then we've got some that have just slipped into overdue in the last couple of days. So really useful to be able to get quickly to those important sets of data, and that's the same for all the things in live review over here. We can do the same with resources. I get my resource chart for this project in that same model, or I could jump up and look at the portfolio resource chart and see what the distribution of demand for particular people across the set of projects might be. Obviously the same thing happens with risks and issues as well. I get my risks, and then I can jump up and down and filter and search all those things out. So that's live looking at some of that data. Often we want to combine all these data sources into a report for projects, and we can do all that in this space here. So when we lay out these diagrams, we can have anything we want to on them. Obviously the interactions with the processes and documentation, but also the any of the functionality that exists in the system can be linked from the diagram. So we've got a few things here on reporting that just sort of teases into reporting, if you like. A couple of standard reports that we can run, and a couple of other things here. So let's go and look at those. The instant project statement is our sort of typical one-page summary of the project. We get that run straight away as HTML, so we can see it in the browser, whatever we might be, wherever we might be choosing to run this, whether it's on a laptop or a phone or a tablet. And if we wanted to later, we could open a Word file version of it if we had an application to do that. So we're seeing some of the key properties and information, a historical trend of statuses, some key costs and dates for the project, a summary timeline, top 5 risks and issues, list of overdue tasks, a benefit tracker. That's a typical one-page summary report. Of course, I can come back to my navigation here, and I can do Project Weekly Review instead. Now, these two reports are sort of at the extremes. We've got a one-page summary, or we've got about a 10-page report here. So this one is giving me a sort of summary page with a quick overview and sort of trends and changes. The idea of this report is it does 1 week behind to 1 week ahead. So that's looking at a weekly change of the data. Then in timing here, we've got a more detailed look at plans, any tasks that are currently happening, any overdue tasks in more detailed tasks that should be starting or completed next week, things that should have been completed last week. Some of these happen to be empty in this particular project. Resources, milestones, issues and changes. So here we're running essentially filtered views against the list of issues for this project, and we're getting all issues that are under action, all those that are unaddressed or with overdue actions. Same sort of thing for risks, same sort of thing for finances and benefits and all the other sort of information we might be interested in for this project. So quite a comprehensive, detailed analysis type report. If we wanted to then share that report back into the project, we could publish it here, and that would mean that it would be shared as a snapshotted version and available for other people to view in the project. And it's put into here, the Publish Reports place. So I can come here and see my library of reports showing the ones that I've chosen to publish in the past. Of course, using other reports means we can come in to that same report space and choose the reports we want from the library of reports up at the top. And these are all available for you to try out if you want to against this project or against the portfolio, the current collection of projects. Or multi-portfolio reports. In fact, you can run those against collections of multiple collections of projects to roll you up to a sort of top organizational level view. So lots in there already. What we tend to try and do with these navigation diagrams is to put the sort of very routine standard things on the front page, the sort of things you're going to be doing all the time. Hidden away slightly are the admin features. Now you'll notice we've provided icons on here to indicate which things you can and can't do easily, so you need to have a certain permission to do some of these. In this demo you have enough permissions to do these things, and that's opening up admin. And now we've got a little bit more sort of interrogation type detail. When we think about reporting here, it's taking us through the idea of updating some of the content, running our reports, some different types of reports we might run. We've got some sort of proper admin stuff up here, like managing project permissions, understanding who's got access to which parts of the project, etc. And approvals. So when we put files through approval, you can either approve them yourself when you check them back in, or you can make them available for other people to interact with as an approval. So I've got a file here I've been asked to vote on, so I can come and see that other people have voted on it yet, and we're still just awaiting my vote. I can see what their discussion was about that, and obviously what their votes were. I can of course read the file to make sure I'm happy with it before I then approve it or don't approve it. Obviously you can't complete that in this particular demo example, but that's the idea. And in fact, when you get senior users in here to do approvals, you often want them to do a number of them at the same time, so you can click that to all projects, and I can see I've got an approval I'm supposed to be working on in another project as well, and it would show up, a range of those here if that's what needs to be done. Over on the right hand side, we've got some more of these sort of plan, risk, issue interactions. These ones are prompting you towards the sort of frequent checks that you maybe should do on your project. So rather than in the first one I had to navigate away to find overdue tasks, this is pre-configured to take me to the overdue tasks for this project. I can see how many there are before I even get there, and then it takes me straight to that list. So it's really focusing Project Manager in on particular things we want them to see. Go and check out what the overspending tasks are on this project. Well, there's quite a few of those, so it's really helping you get to grips with key things that we know or your organization knows you should be focusing on for your project. Over here we also have trend information. We saw a couple of trends in the reports already, but here we can jump to the trending tool. I can see the baseline finish against the actual finish for this project, we can see that's changed in the last month. We want to re-baseline the project. I can from here go and pick any view, any type of trend analysis I want, but these buttons are again pointing us to some key ones that we know we might be interested in. Lots of other capabilities in here as well, but that's just picking out some. The idea of this is you can go and explore many more of them if you want to. We're also going to have a quick look at some of those other projects. So I talked about the 2020 example projects, the 2020 new blank methods. So some of these are methods that are using Word templates, and some of them are using our PABX templates instead. So if we go and find one of these I methods that are using PABX templates, and you'll see for these you'll be able to largely edit them or see how they work within the browser. So we've got an appointments file here. If I do check out and edit, you'll see I can interact with this as though I were filling it out. I just can't save it. And you can see some of these latest PABX features, like the ability to include images here. When we've got tables, the ability to have those more highly customized, and to add and remove rows, and that's sort of normal user type activity for interacting with tables in here. So just really quite a quick browse through some of those things, and enough information so you can go away and try that some more yourself. If you're still finding all that really interesting and can see how that's going to help your projects move forward and professionalize, then drop us a line and we'd be happy to jump on a web meeting and go through some of that, some of your questions that you might have, or to provide you with an evaluation site so you can actually have a proper go on it, something that's all unlocked and working in its entirety. Good, I hope you found that helpful. Thank you very much.